Hello, welcome. Good to see you here. Writing a message, but phone away. Pay attention. Hone in with you guys now. I do have candle lit here. You guys are welcome to anyway. Just look into the candlelight if you have a difficult time meditating. Otherwise, you can close your eyes, go within. Right, so we did just have our 11:11 on Instagram. Now this is our essentially our high tea at noon. And so I welcome you, close your eyes, get comfortable, take some breaths here, whatever feels natural for you. Just take awareness, are you having a shallow breath? Is it a deep breath? Is it a noisy breath? Silent? Be present with yourself here. Adjust your posture. Pick up the room that you have to grow, right? Sit up tall. There are droopy plants, of course, and at this time of year, especially because so much is dying off. But we ourselves, we can adjust our posture. It's a choice to stand up, to rise into the light, into the sun, to be that light for other people too. As you're taking up your space and using your breath, that life force energy to rise higher and taller, I want you to raise your arms above your head. And I know oftentimes we do the aura cleanse, but because we did this on the 11:11 today, I'm going to invite you instead to just raise your arms up and collect the confidence that you need in order to go on with the rest of your day, to be that higher potential, to really step into that for yourself and for everyone you're going to help because of it, because you're full. Cultivate some heat here as you wave your arms. And when you feel that heat, that energy, you open up and collect even more. Stretch out those shoulders, collect even more. Go bigger from all angles. And you might feel a little crack in your heart or in your back from doing this. Allow it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Don't force it. But if it's there, just breathe into it, okay? You're ready and up at the top, and you feel in your shoulders that the energy has shifted. Now I want you to rain it down. Like the biggest, deepest breath you have all day. Hold it up at the top there. You can bring your hands to your gut or to your heart. Present with yourself here, and just let go. Release everything to Mama Nature. She knows how to filter that energy. Just let it go. You're allowed. All right. We're ready. Take a sip of my tea for high tea, and we'll get into the Q&A, okay? Cheers. Right. So we did have some good questions coming in. Of course, as I had mentioned before, there is no special order for any of these questions. It's how they come in. They get added to the list, and we just go through it. I've got, uh, you know, pages worth of them here, so I'm going through the best I can. And of course, if you can't make these lives, that's okay. We do share the recording versions with you in the Signal group, or of course, you can catch them down below in Odyssey here, okay? So, yeah, this is a great one here. Uh, yeah, how do I stop beating myself up? How do I stop actually feeling bad? And here's the thing, I was just in a ceremony with a girl, and this was coming up too, the perfectionism and the people pleasing and things like this. And to be honest, like those are just mental saboteurs that create these patterns within yourself to beat yourself up, to feel bad, and it becomes familiar. And then that's where it is that we want to stay because we're familiar with it. And then the ego wants to protect us and attract more of that in because now that's our vibration. And, at any time, you can choose to do this differently. At any time, you can harness your power, your choice, and make a different choice. And that starts with just having the awareness, testing and seeing where it is that you do it, learning how to, instead of being a perfectionist, learn how to embrace failure. you know uh, Failure is just, it's part of it. It doesn't make you a failure. It's part of becoming perfect. Not that I believe that you can ever be perfect, but there is a such thing as perfecting something. And to perfect something, that means first it has to be done. That means done is better than perfect. So first you just complete something and you become the person that knows how to complete things. And then from there you get to go to these completed things and start optimizing on them, perfecting them, releasing what's not working, adding in what you want to try, what is inspiring you, what's bringing you joy, what's coming up for you now, what new lessons you've integrated in or that you want to integrate in. And this will start raising your vibration. So instead of feeling bad, you are, turning that into something positive, turning the suffering into a superpower. And these mental saboteurs, they get us, and is a type of suffering when you keep going into, that critique or that, hypervigilant or the judge or like any of these things. If you guys are interested in finding out who your mental saboteur is, I'm going to link it in our Signal group today as well as in the description. If you don't see it there, just remind me and I'll send you that quiz. It's a really good one. It's free of charge. Yeah, and on the website, there's a TED Talks and different things like that too, so you guys can understand more about this for yourselves. My job here, my mission is to just share more resources with you guys, so you can heal yourself naturally. So you don't have to put that power in anybody else's hands or expect anybody to do it for you, right? I'm here creating grown-ups, people who know how to take responsibility for themselves and their lives, the people who are already liberating themselves and others, or that's what they're aspiring to be. So, I'll hook you up. It's your job to just take it and do what you must with it. If it resonates, great. If not, that's okay too. We're all on different journeys, and I believe it's all for a reason. Right, so beating yourself up, feeling bad. Another thing that I just want to mention here is that even these words, I know just from reading this question and the words used, that chances are this child was abused or this person was abused as a child. The beating yourself up. Even those words is because you were getting programmed by with these beliefs as a child when you were being beat up in the same way that you're doing it to yourself now. So maybe that is a physical beat up, maybe that's a mental beat up or, an emotional one. Regardless of what it is, this means doing some deep work. Maybe the Ho'oponopono, some of that forgiveness stuff. This may even go beyond that into a type of reparenting, where you can, what we do with our clients anyway for this type of reparenting is we have our clients send us in what's called a Trinity text every day. And we take that Trinity text and we turn it into affirmations. And those affirmations can be recorded and used as a hypnosis later down the road. So then you're, you know, reprogramming these things in an easy and kind of enjoyable way. It's not always enjoyable. You have to show up and stay accountable and send your Trinity text in every day or to take the time it takes to record. But over time, it's as simple, but it's not easy. You have to do the work, of course. So that's one thing that I would mention there is that why are you beating yourself up? When was the first time that you caught yourself beating yourself up or felt like you were being beat up? How old were you? What would it be like to go back into that place? What would you say to that child now? How does it feel? How long have you been holding that belief? And, how does it feel to finally be able to let go of it now, years later, maybe even decades later? And also another one that came up here was feeling bad. And I wanted to say that there is no good or bad. In spirit science, there's a beautiful parable that Finn listens to that's called the parable of the farmer. And so, just as an example, and I'm not the I'm not the one who created this, so I don't exactly know the parable. I'm just gonna, phrase it from my memory. But essentially, this farmer, his son ended up breaking a leg. And all the neighbors came by and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you, blah, blah, blah." And the farmer looks at them all and says, "Who knows what's good or bad?" And then the army came and you started recruiting all of the boys for war. And because of the farmer's son's broken leg, he got to stay. And again, all the neighbors came over and said, "Oh, you're so lucky, you're so lucky." And the farmer said, "Who knows what's good or bad?" And, this goes on and on. I really do recommend you check out Spirit Science for more reasons than just this parable. They have, entire collections on things that I'm sure would interest you guys so much. But I just want to share that, there is no good or bad. There's a reason why you had that experience. There's a reason why you're having that experience now. And whatever that bad feeling is, chances are it's a compass to healing it. If you're feeling bad in the present moment, it's just a compass to go back and heal that part of yourself. It's yourself saying you're ready to heal. This is a blessing, not a curse. It may feel like that, but trust me, once you start doing the work, once you start giving love into these areas, it's almost like when you have a knot in your shoulder or, a blockage in your chakras. When you start breathing through it or moving your body in those ways and loosening up that energy, it feels better and it feels better and it feels better. And this is the same when it comes to our thoughts, right? You start moving through it. You start taking your breath into it and breathing through whatever feelings. You're metabolizing it. And that is great healing power. So often we get in our way, right? We start shortening our breath. We start making really shallow breaths and quiet. And, you know, the truth is, you deserve better. You deserve to be doing this work, and we're blessed in this dynamic time that we have the time to do this. And if we don't have the time, then we have the time management tools that we can learn how to make that time, even if it means letting some things go, even if it means letting things go temporarily or long term. It's okay. It's safe to do so because for you, this is calling you to do this work. So instead of feeling bad, you can raise your vibration and actually live that higher potential that we both know, that everybody in our collective knows you deserve. Okay? Uh, Here's a fun, interesting one. I feel just like my mom. How do I stop this pattern or own it? Oh my gosh. So my mom just moved in with me, and whenever I spend time with family, I always go to that Ram Dass quote where he said that you think you're enlightened, huh? Go spend a week with your family. Because that's really the testament of how far you've come. Are you going to be triggered by your family? Or can you still maintain who you are when you're with them to the fullest of that ability without, getting overly emotional in any direction? To be able to maintain that homeostasis when you're with, the people that you grew up with that know, all shapes and forms of you, likely hold on to the old ways of you instead of embracing the new ways of you as well, which is a challenge in itself. You know, um, so my advice here is that if you are feeling like you're taking on some of these patterns, just analyze them. I started doing work in these areas long ago. When I had my awakening in 2014, I was sober on the beach and walking along the ocean front in British Columbia, and I just heard this voice come across the water. And as I looked out on the water, I actually saw what looked like the 13th concession, which is in a little village called La Fontaine that I grew up in. A place where I would spend some of my time. And I looked out and I saw that, and I had heard this voice saying, "It's time, Ashley. It's time to go back to the roots of where this all began." And I knew that that voice wasn't in me or wasn't me, but it was actually was something else inside of me pulling me. And I sold all of my stuff and I hopped on a flight. Like I was gone within the same week back to Ontario, and I got sober and I quit eating shitty foods and I buckled really down. I didn't talk to anybody. Most of the people that I knew didn't even know that I was back. They thought I was still traveling because I had been gone for 4 years and before I had returned. And so the I didn't have to tell anybody. I didn't get a job. I quit earning money. I reset everything. I had to. I wanted to quit smoking. I wanted to quit drinking. Those are things that I had to do in order to face any of the traumas, in order to heal any of the roots. And I knew that I had to be home for that because that's what the voice told me. That's what my message was, is to go back. And and so it wasn't easy. And the first time facing my mom, first time facing, other people from my family, it was not easy because I was healing myself, and I saw that in the 4 years that I was gone, most people hadn't changed. It was like a time capsule almost, that everybody else seemed to be the same, doing the same thing, stuck in the same routines, complaining about the same things, in enjoying their time and spending their money in the same ways. And I had a very difficult time in it. In that though, I was blessed because I got to see the patterns that I had already broken. I got to see that I was doing it, that in my 4 years gone, that had evolved on some level, and that by returning and becoming sober, becoming that, sexier and sober version of myself, I was able to, uh, yeah, I guess heal some of those things and realize that the healing wasn't for me, but for everybody else. And that I couldn't change anybody else, but that I could change myself. I don't think we need to own these patterns that are like our parents. I do believe that it's our job to stop those patterns so that our children, if you're blessed to have them, don't have to carry those same burdens. I do believe that there's some spirituality into why sometimes we have girls and why sometimes we have boys. I feel that there's some spirituality around that. I do believe that there's also spirituality around, as well as nutrition concerns and hormonal concerns, around why some people can have children and why some people can't. I myself, I had cervical dysplasia, which required surgeries and things that then caused more trauma in those areas. And I was told at a very young age that I couldn't have children. That being said, I was able to holistically, heal my cervix, heal my ovaries. When I had a diagnosis of PCOS, I was able to cure that as well, and now have regular periods. I have a happy, healthy 5-year-old son there. That's proof that, you guys can all do this. But it does take work. And this was another pattern that I was able to stop. The alcoholism that went deep, especially on my maternal side. My mom's mom, she died and her body was found outside of a bar. And her mom died a Native American in a snowbank, drunk. And, there wasn't a lot of stuff done because indigenous, they were treated differently at that time. And my mom, she had addiction issues as well, some through pharmaceuticals and some through the alcohol. And when I was able to cure that for myself, I knew that it wasn't for me, that instead it was for them and for everyone who comes after me, for Finn and his children down the road. He's not going to have the same obstacles as me. And that's again why I think we need to role model what we have been through, share our stories in another way. Maybe not exactly with our family, but share it with people who are like our family, that are going to be receptive to these things. Family and close friends, childhood friends, they're going to be the hardest ones to get through. But there are other people that are like them, that are mirrors of them, that you can reach, that are likely, sleeping in bed at night, just hoping that there's somebody out there that will help them. And I feel that that's a really important thing to understand as well. Don't let anybody dull your sparkle. Your family does love you, but they love you to the fullest extent they know how to love and in the ways that they know how to love. You know better. So you love them better, you love yourself better, and you share that, and what gifts come from that kind of love. These are all ways that you're able to own it, but also in order to own it, I feel you also have to be stopping that pattern. It takes time. This is why my book Be the Change, I break everything up into a year. Like, I'll take a couple minutes now actually and just let you know what that actually means, right? If we're coming into the new year now, where everybody's starting to write down their New Year's resolutions, this is something that most of the population, only 8% of the people who set goals will actually accomplish them, or these New Year's resolutions. It's a very small amount, and only 50% of them will achieve it. And if you want to actually achieve yours and beat those odds, that means scheduling things in. So what I do is I take all my New Year's resolutions and I break them up into the seasons and into the months of the year so that everything gets done, and it gets done at a time that aligns with the season. For example, one of the things I want to quit is quit smoking weed. I don't know if this is the year that I quit forever, but I do know that I'm going to take the winter months and quit so that I can then do an analysis and see, is this helping me or hindering me? Is this something I want to continue doing or not? I don't imagine myself being a smoker my whole life. Not that I don't smoke cigarettes, but I do like burning herbs. I like smoking lotus. I like smoking mullein. I like smoking cannabis. I still like that, though I'm giving it up for this amount of time. And winter just seemed to be aligned to that. And also, in winter is a great time to do more artwork and to hone in on herbology and to start germinating plants, and also thoughts and ideas in my own mind for how I want to expand elemental growth come the spring. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be taking that energy that I'd be spending outside trying to use a lighter to light some herbs, and instead, go more inward, which I would normally do naturally anyway. And so this is just one example. Another one would be if you like running, or doing nature walks and foraging, that's better off in some of the other seasons, such as, spring, for example, and summer. If you like swimming, that would be a summer sport. So that's, you put all of your swimming goals and all of your, goals for nature in those summer seasons. And you're able to let go of the other stuff because it's there, it's scheduled in. This is something that successful people do that the most people don't do. Most of us are like holding on to our journals and saying, this is all stuff that I want, but it's also a type of hoarding because it's not actually getting used. Information's only power if you're using it. It's not power if it's sitting there. A book's only as good if you're reading it. If you're not reading it, then you're no better than anybody who's doesn't know how to read. Essentially, even worse because you're not even using your power or strengthening your skills in any way. So there's a lot to this, a lot of ways that I could say, you can track your results, you can hold yourself accountable, but really coming down to it is finding what's your unique journey. How are you different? Like if you can think about Harry Potter when he's I don't know what episode this was in, like probably one of the Sleepy Hollows or something. But when he was turning into Voldemort and he's like doing that weird thing with his head and eyes turning black and that spirit energy's in him. That's how I like to think about these curses or the family karma getting stuck inside of our body, these patterns that we're repeating for our parents. A lot of the time I see too that it's sexual abuse or mental and emotional abuse. The reason why, I was abused as a child is because it was normalized. Maybe not the reason why it was first done, but why it is I continued with it as a pattern. I've started, creating that victim mindset, and it was something that I had to heal for my mom and for her mom and for her mom. This was something that Finn's never going to have to deal with. This is it's a beautiful thing, but at the same time, it's a hard thing. And this means, facing it all too. And yeah, allowing yourself to see that it's not you. You do have to take responsibility because you see it, but also realize that it's just, a force inside of you that at any time you can decide this is not you. Like when Dumbledore said to Harry Potter, it's not about the ways that you're the same, it's about the ways that you're different. And if you're able to shift that focus into what makes you different, you're able to purge that out of you. You're able to send love to those parts of you and also able to let them go. And I feel that's a really important thing that we do for our children, or if you're planning on conceiving children in the future, or if you just have children in your life, or maybe it is just you and you're just the end of your family line. For somebody, that may be the case. And you still have to do this work. You still have to do it because you see it and you're the one called to do it. So, it's not about owning it, it's about stepping in to it. It's about stepping into the fear and doing the thing, right? So, yeah, if there's more that you guys want to go into about this, a big one that comes up for me is family karma. And we can do that kind of work through the chakras and things like that too. I'd love to help you with that. So if you want to dive deeper into this kind of stuff, how to break family karma and these kinds of patterns that come up that maybe aren't yours, these demonic forces inside of you that are coming up for to show you what works to be done, because you're the strong one able to do it, then message me, give me some specifics, and we'll dive into that, okay? uh Another one I've got here. I want to enjoy life more, and I know that means being there for others. So how do I be there for others? Okay, so yeah, it's very true. Being there for others does definitely help you enjoy life, because when you see other people's growth and success, it does just light us up. Sometimes those mental saboteurs can come in like jealousy or resentment, things like that. But at the end of the day, again, that's just a choice. It's a choice to feel that way. We all have a little bit of the darkness, a little bit of the light, like the yin yang. In all the darkness, there's still a little light. In all the light, there's still a little darkness. And our job is to stay as present as we can, ride that wave in the middle. And it's not always easy, because if you've ever hopped on a surfboard, you know that the waves are going to punch you in the face. You're going to get salt water up your nose and every other hole that you can think of. So, like, it's not easy to surf. It's not easy to be present. It's not easy to ride that wave. But that is the goal, right? It's to navigate your way between the darkness and the light as best you can. If you fall off on one side or the other, it's okay. Just get back up on that board. It's all right. And when we're doing that, as you can, ask any surfer, it's like you get into that flow state, and that's really where you get to enjoy life. You get to see the magic again, you get to feel it, experience it, you get to experience the ride. At that point in time, you're totally letting go and just in surrender. And a lot of that can come from just helping others, because it helps light us up, you know, by it helping, especially the person asking this question. I know you're in this world, most of you tuning into this are in this world to help others. So, I guess in a sense, I'm validating that. But on the other hand, to help you understand how to be there for others does include being there for yourself first. That means getting really clear on what those passions and purposes are. So, for example, my mentor, Dr. Dan Engel, he talked about herbology in this beautiful way. He said a beginner herbalist will know 10 plants and want to know more. And, an intermediate herbalist will know 100 plants but not have mastered any. And the master herbalist will come back to the same 10 plants and know them inside and out, actually master those 10 that are perfect for them. And I feel that that's a really important thing too when we're figuring out how we're going to enjoy life, is if you think about the herbs as passions, as the things that you've invested into. So come back, go do a timeline of your life and figure out what brought you the most joy. What did you invest the most time in? What are those really great strengths that and abilities that you have? Maybe some, like Maybelline, you were born with it, and yeah, come back to them and start honing in on them. And then you'll start attracting the people that are there for you to help. And once they start showing up, you'll know inside of yourself how to help them. Uh, I do a little practice. I'm not much for social media or the internet or or tech in general. I really like just being in the soil and in the forest and in the water and um and sometimes in my journals and my books and things like that too. But yeah, I guess, what helped me find the people that really need my help is that when I go on Instagram, I do this visualization exercise, where as if I'm I'm Xavier off of X-Men, and I'm putting on the Cerebro helmet, and I'm putting it on, and I tell myself, I'm here to find the other people that need my help today. I'm here to find, the one person that I can help, and I'm going to help them. I'm looking for the other mutants, and I'm going to bring them off of Instagram and onto like decentralized communities so that they can, actually openly and freely be themselves and, and be protected from the tyranny that's happening today. And, I do this and it helps me be successful in what I'm doing. That may not be it for you. It depends on what your passions are and how it is that you're able to help them. There's tons of services and certifications that I have and ways that I can help people. What I set out to do is help people the way that they need it to be. This is why I moved from group coaching into private coaching, and why I moved from, field tripping, which I do, one day I'm going to get back to those things, but right now I'm switching it up. I went from field tripping um, before being a mom into more private, one-on-one, intimate surroundings being a mother. And, one day I know my decade in the hospitality and tourism industry and the land that, I'm manifesting right now in my mind, when all of that comes together in the future, it's going to be at the right time and I'll be able to do everything. Right now, though, this is really what I needed in the way that I'm helping people. It's not the way that I envisioned it, but it is what feels really good, and it is driving a lot of purpose, and it's giving me the time to master skills and to learn to listen to people and to be there, for individuals. When everybody else is doing the group thing, I still stand apart as the black sheep doing something different. And I always love that too, that doing it alone, alone thing always comes up for me, and I have this way of embracing it now. I used to feel lonely in it or try to conform, and now I find it humorous, like life testing me, and we're finally getting along and dancing together and having fun in it. And so I did find ways to enjoy life in this, and I know you will too. The biggest thing is find out where the joy is, what's bringing you joy. Group coaching used to bring me joy, until it didn't. At one point in time, it wasn't working, and that's okay because I know I'll go back to it. It's all right to let go because, what's meant for you will come back in due time. What's important is that you enjoy life as you're living it, that you enjoy the journey, you enjoy the present moment, and then the people are going to show up for you to help. It just happens naturally. Uh, you know, there's tons of people that you see if you're scrolling Instagram that are advertising, here, get some organic lead generations, or DMing you and saying, here, pay us this money and we'll get you those leads and those clients, the people for you to help. And, the truth is, the only one who's actually going to get you those clients is you. By attuning your frequency, by being aligned to who you're actually meant to be, do that soul work. What are your 10 herbs that you want to master? What are those 10 passions that you really want to hone into? And when those 10 passions come together, that equals purpose. That integration of them is that purpose. And that means helping clients before you're ready. That means helping clients before you have a program out. That means helping the people now by helping yourself. In return, you get to help them and they help you too. They're always going to be a mirror of you. And I I know as a coach, been coaching since 2017, I've been living in this world for many more years. And um, yeah, everyone that I connect with, I always feel as a mirror of me or a mirror of someone that is that's really close to my heart. And that I get to help them in that way. It's just a way that I connect with them heart to heart. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And those opportunities are there for you too. What's most important is getting in that alignment first. You know? So if you want to send me just for accountability what your 10 herbs are, your 10 passions, please do so. Send them to ashley@elementalgrowth.org. I'd love to see it, love to hear about it, and hold you accountable to the work as well, okay? I got here. We got some time for some more. All right. Okay, this one I can do really quick. All right, let me just highlight this so I know they're done. Okay. Oh, wrong color. OCD coming in. Gotta be color coordinated, just like my socks. All right. So, how to release from your brain all your list of all the things that you have to do. Oh my God. Successful people do not have to-do lists, you guys. The only way that to-do lists come in handy is if you're doing a brain dump, which is something I like to do around the full moon. I also like to do it around the new moon too, actually. So I do it twice a month. I just brain dump and I get out a to-do list. In the new moon, I'm getting out everything on a list so that I can manifest it. And in the full moon, I'm getting everything out on a list so that I can release it or hone in on things. You know, whatever I'm not releasing, I'm renewing and bringing forward in a new way. I take advantage of all of the work that I've done. I don't hold on to it. I put it into action. And this is one of the things I've learned from the many successful people that are in my life and that have taken the time to teach me, to bring me under their wing. And yeah, so here's the thing. So you do this brain dump like once or twice a month. And so I had a sandwich earlier and it had some spice in it. So I don't mean to be yeah, okay, moving on. Enough about me. On to how it is that I can help you. All right, so you have your to-do list, and whether or not you have like an ongoing list right now, or you start doing this practice of the new and full moon, or new or full moon, however you want, this is going to be a unique journey, a unique process. It may change and evolve over time as you do. Just start doing it, experiment, ask yourself questions about it, and improve. This is not about doing it perfect. It's not about planning it out perfectly. This is about taking action and doing. Done is better than perfect, like we discussed earlier. So once you get it all out, then you schedule everything into your planner, into your notebooks. Okay, you guys? Like, you know, I schedule it in and I cross it out. And I usually color coordinate things and I have all of my notes of the things that I have to do on one side. I also program them into my phone. So they're on Google Calendar. I have alarms set for, every hour on the other hour so that I get up and move my body and go into another, type of task, some being personal care things or things with Finn and some of it being, hardcore get down to it work or time with clients. And, um, and this is the trick, you guys, is to actually schedule it in, you know? So everything for me is color coded. And I do it like the chakras because I work my way through the chakras every day, and I have something scheduled in. Then my alarms, they're set for every hour. If you want an actual, like, detailed list, it's not stressful. Like you may think, you'd be like, oh my God, that's too much. The truth is, if you're not doing this, you're giving your power away, right? This is a teaching from Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. If you guys haven't read that book, go get it off Amazon. If you don't like reading, get the 3-hour audiobook off of YouTube for free. Or right now you can get the whole Napoleon Hill collection. If you're an Audible member, you can get all of his books on a group deal. So, there are ways you guys can get these resources, but in a nutshell, you want to outwit that devil, you guys. That drifter mindset that goes with everybody else's plan or that goes with the flow. You don't want to go with the flow. That is a trick that gets pulled on us elementalists, on us that are like empaths and spiritualists, us spiritual entrepreneurs, you don't want to go with the flow. You do want to, essentially take the path of least resistance, which means following that joy, following what feels good, following what feels natural. But you also want to have a plan, not because plans work out, because life's always gonna punch you in the face, right? Like Mike Tyson said, a plan's only as good until I punch you in the face, like, and that's exactly what life does. As soon as you think you got it figured out, get a punch in the face. Life is going to test you. The plan is not about it being perfect, it's about taking action. The plan's there so that you're taking consistent action and learning with the flow. You're always in flow. You're not letting go and going with the flow. You're letting go of specific things, over time. It's a different kind of surrender, and I feel that the two get confusing. Even in explaining this to you guys, I can I can see the confusion on how communicating it comes across. So let me try it in another way. Uh, the value, I guess, in having these things planned out, having a schedule, is so that you know that everything is getting done. So that in 2 days from now, there is a deadline for something. So your brain automatically starts filling in that space. If you didn't have that set, if you didn't know you have to do this on this day, then so much other stuff would go into that space. The devil, that space would end up being filled with drinking with your buddies, with video games, with porn and masturbation, with what sitting on your ass doing freaking nothing, with scrolling, with late nights. If you don't know what you're doing the next day, sure, it's easy to give it away to the devil and stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning scrolling and buying shit off Amazon. But if you know you got something to do in the morning and you got a nice day planned and it's nice and pretty in your calendar and you're expecting that there's going to be, some delays along the way and that life's going to challenge you as soon as you think you got it perfect, then, those are the times you surrender and go with the flow. There is a system, make your life systematic. Know what it is that you need in your life to be your healthy best. Schedule those things in. Know what you need to do with your business. Schedule that in. You have all of these things that you want to do for expanding your business or for being a better parent. Schedule that stuff in. You want to travel. You want to move. This is something that's come up with my clients. I'm like, some of them want to do van lifing, some of them just want to move to a warmer climate or to a different climate. Some of them move across the world, and whenever they're in these transition spaces or moving careers, even too, wherever it's this transition period, I always say, schedule in your time to plan it. And then when your time of planning it's done and you're in routine and you're starting to get in alignment, your brain's filling up things, um, action steps to be taken, and you start taking these action steps, eventually you can replace that time with actually the steps of doing the move. And that happens so often in my practice where people are going through these really big life transitions, and it's it's very important in these times to outwit that devil. Otherwise, it's not going to be done. Otherwise, 6 years down the road, you're still going to be asking the same questions. You're still going to be wanting to do it. And I can use this as an example in my own life. I do it too. I'm so far from perfect. I get things wrong all the time. Even in some areas where I've succeeded in doing this, one area that I continue to be failing in right now is doing the van life. I still get confused as to which comes first, homesteading or van life, because I want both. And I know that I can't do both. So the devil comes in and starts making that plan for me. I start, falling into my mom's plan and my stepdad's plan and my friend's plan for their property and another friend's plan and a client's plan and all of these things. instead of just doing what it is that I know I need to be doing, which is having Finn on the road with me, I get caught up and, maybe it's not the right time because of COVID. Maybe it's not the right time because of the snow, and it's everybody else's stuff that gets, moved in there. That's the devil. That's my drifter self not making a decision, and I got away with not making that decision for a while because I did take steps to buy my first vehicle, um, to make it so that I could keep my apartment while also traveling out with Finn. I chose challenges where, my gas was cheap, but I didn't have the same space. But I also, in this time, no matter what, was such a blessing. I learned so much from this because whether or not I sell my car and go get a converted van now, or if I end up keeping it and going in on property with somebody else, I, you know, no matter what, in this time, I learned how to drive and I got my confidence there because it took me a long time before I even got past the fear of skip behind the wheel. And so in doing that was great. Second, I've built my credit up so much in this time. It's unbelievable. I could likely go in, do a mortgage something all by myself. Truth is, I don't want to do that. I do believe in the community and the coming together, and I know it's going to take more than me to make anything that I want happen. So I'm okay waiting. Like the truth is, the reason why I want to do this van life and why I know it's for me is because I've always been a traveler. I've always been a nomad by spirit. Other people in my family are that way. I've got Native American blood. I've got French blood, travelers on both sides. Um, and not only that, it was in traveling that I healed myself and able to have a child. And so I knew in that moment that as much as Finn was a blessing, there was a reason why I was his mom. I knew I had a special duty and commitment to him to give him multiple experiences to help him see life in all different ways. And I was playing the victim card a little bit when it came to coronavirus, just in saying, now's not the right time because I can't do everything the way I wanted to do. I couldn't cross borders the way I wanted to, and gas prices went through the roof, and and different things like that. Like, there's taking a trip today is like way more expensive than before, but it's okay, especially in my car. I get to travel as much as I want, but in a van, it would mean more planning, something that I don't necessarily want to do all that. It means like having stops where we go and are seeing other kids so Finn gets that sociability. It means, a lot more stuff. I know it's my job to do. That means that I also need to be scheduling in those steps, just like I'm saying to you guys. If you want to free yourself from that to-do list, it means scheduling that stuff in. You're not going to be freed, you'll be free from the to-do list, but you're not going to be free from doing the things. Like there's a lot of work that I have to do in order to do this van life. Thank God it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, so most of the work is done, but now I still have to take action on it. And that means facing my parents again. That means uh, you know, that means also, going to a dealership again and doing all that stuff again. Thank God I've already done it before, which means I'll do it faster and more efficiently. It means that I'm going to do it better, because I've made some mistakes already. And that's part of it too, right? You own that failure and you're able to succeed because of it. You gotta fail forward. Okay, you guys? And again, to release yourself from these stimulus, it means taking some of the stuff off of it and parking lotting it because it doesn't need to be done right now, or burning burning it in general and saying it doesn't need to be done at all. If it's actually meant to be done, it will come back to me, and just have trust and have faith in that. And it also means the stuff that needs to be done, the stuff you really want to do, the stuff that brings you joy, the stuff that aligns you to passion, which will bring you to your purpose. You know, actually schedule those things in. One thing that I did start doing is scheduling in action steps to get this stuff done with my car. You know, get it done where, I'm figuring out what are the rules at the borders. Where is it that I can actually go without needing to be tested? Because I'm not doing that to myself or my son. I don't need that drama. It also means figuring out where are all the kids that we're going to visit? How long can we stay at each place? You know, likely I'll be going in the spring, use the whole winter time to really germinate these things. Come the last month of winter, that's when I'll make the purchase and move forward. You know, I have this plan now, which means, you know, even if the plans change, it's okay because I'm taking action. And if my path ends up changing in any way, or life gets in the way, or, maybe land appears for me, no matter what, it's okay. And the reason why it's okay is because I'm taking action right now, and what it is I think comes first. I'm making that decision. I did make the decision long ago when I was thinking about van life that instead of a van, I was going to choose a car. I made that decision and I did that work, and I've gained a lot of benefits and a lot of experience for it. Now I'm making the decision do van life again in the spring, but with an actual van and doing an actual conversion and actually living out of it and releasing my apartment. And, in doing that, even if things changed and that land came, or does come, or whatever, which it very well may come naturally come January, I'm still planning this van life because, even if that land comes, I'm going to need somewhere to live in, and I'm going to need something to drive. And it may as well be both because I do like traveling, especially in the warmer seasons, where we can wake up on the beach in these beautiful spots that, some people never get to sleep at, or if they do, it's at like incredible prices. And we get to do that all, on our time and on a dollar that, we can afford, and in a way that creates a lot of memories and a lot of personalized experience. And so that's just one example in my life of, where I get caught up in this to-do list, right? I can have all of these things that I have to do, not only about preparing for this lifestyle change, but also in preparing, for an expansion in my business and for any other trips that I do, and, you know, and just life in general, but I take all that down and I actually schedule it in. So every single day is easy and in flow. A lot of the time, actually, I'm done things before the actual time when it needs to be done because my mind's automatically using the in between space to fill it in. It's using the time when my alarm goes off and I do a quick little hit workout to move my body to bring in some answers, to bring in some solutions. And it's a beautiful practice, do the mind dump, schedule in what needs to be in, release the rest, and you're good to go. I have one time for one more question. This one is on Instagram getting blocked. So this does happen to a lot of us. If you're tuning in here, chances are it's happened to you as a professional. And if not, I'm sure are seeing with a lot of people that you follow that this is happening to. Sociadelic, is one page that went down. I myself am off Facebook and on Instagram's naughty list just about every other day. So, I get it. Instagram is doing this blocking. One of the things that you can do to make sure that you're getting access to all content and helping the other creators is go into your settings and make sure that, that it's aligned the way that you want to for censorship and things like that. They set a lot of automatic things when they do the updates, but if you go into your settings, you figure out how the app works, you'll be able to, change some of those settings so that you have accessibility to all the people that you have followed and content that you want to see. Another thing that I would say is to just change your mind around it. The way I see it is that if Instagram and Facebook weren't blocking me, then it would mean that I wasn't telling the truth. And so I take it, as a bit of a reward. I'm telling the truth and I'm getting the block. And every time that I get blocked or get threatened for my account to be taken down, anything like that, I just always, say say thank you, essentially, to the haters that are reporting me or whatever. Actually, here is a great something that really boosts me up is this song by Chameleonaire. I don't know if you guys are rap, if you guys like rap. I like much different music, rock and roll I grew up on. But I also do like rap too. My high school ages, it always brings me back. I still enjoy it today, blasting some of that stuff. And one of the songs is by Chameleonaire, called "Good Morning Haters," and he uses one of the old rock songs by Joe Walsh. Uh, it's "Life's Been Good to Me So Far," so and then he's rapping with that song, and essentially it's like, you know, it's really empowering. Not so maybe not so much the video itself, but the song is. And yeah, guys don't know what rap did to the feminist movement. Not that I believe in that anyway. I feel it sold a lot of cigarettes, but it didn't put women as far ahead as we like to think. Um, but the song's really empowering, and it helped me change my perspective that having haters, having people reporting you, it means that I'm telling the truth, and people don't want the truth to be told. But that's okay. What Buddha said is that three things cannot for long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And if I'm aligned to any one of those things, which I like to think I'm aligned to all three, I'm doing an all right job, and I'm in alignment with my authentic self, and I'm okay, and I'm at peace with that. So Instagram blocking me is okay. Another reason why it's okay is because I do plan. And I batch my content, and I know that if at any time Instagram does delete me, we have signal to fall back on, where there's a lot of our followers are, at least the loyal ones that are doing the work and helping themselves heal and helping others. We have that backup plan. When we don't get to go live on Instagram, that's okay, because we have Odyssey here to fall back upon. With Facebook gone, and they took all of my client data. They took every single name, phone number, email address. I didn't have access to any of that. They took it all. They're just data thieves, and they use us creators to do it. And I felt like even that was okay. Not that I think it's okay that they do that, or that I think it's okay that they did that to me, but I think it's okay because I know the truth, and I'm able to share that. And also because I have a backup on Minds, which I get to, share that kind of stuff. And some of these backups actually pay cryptocurrency, like Minds and Odyssey and Library. And, so it's great for both content creators and the people who are consuming content as well, to actually be earning something. And there are no ads on these alternative platforms. It's the way that it was meant to be before it got bought out and monopolized. So yeah, if Instagram's blocking you, say a prayer. It's not like there's somebody there like stalking your account. Likely it's somebody that is reporting you, in which case you just send a prayer to them, and say, I love you, whoever you are, and I have faith that you're going to get there, and when you get there, you're going to remember me, you're going to find me, and you're going to ask for help. That's a little prayer that I give out. And if it's not me, it's going to be someone better. That's another thing too, because while I'm the best for some people, there is better out there for other people. It depends on what they're looking for. And so I make sure that I add that in too. I'm, not riding that roller coaster of pride or anything like that. I am completely aware that, I'm for some people and not others. I'm okay with that magnetic marketing where I repel some people and also magnetize others. For me that works, and I'm at peace with that. Another thing is to, send your love to Instagram and just say, thank you for letting me find the mutants, the other mutants. Thank you for helping me find the people who need my help and bringing them to these other platforms, showing them that there is an alternative. Thank you for being that outlet for me to find the people, for me to connect with people, connect, engage with them too. It's a beautiful thing. I am really thankful for that platform. I'm there still for a reason. I'm there because it's still working for me. Yeah, they delete me. Yeah, they delete my content, but it's okay because I got backups. It's okay because I'm still gaining benefit from them. No matter how much they threaten me, they still haven't deleted me. No matter how much they threaten me, every single time, it just builds up my momentum and my what Finn would call his love bar or his happiness bar, like as if video games, right? You got your food bar, your happiness bar. So that fills up my happiness bar every single time I'm blocked because I start singing the song from Chameleonaire and I start thinking about all the people I brought over. I start thinking about my alternatives and that I'm already ahead of the game. I feel good about it. I'm at peace within. I wish that same thing for you. I love what you're doing and I want you to keep spreading your light. Do it. Be the light. Share the light. I love you all so much. I'll say goodbye for now. Please tune in to Tristan. He'll be live at 5 this evening. I love you all so much. Bye for now. Yeah.